So if you want to try something like this, here are some simple tips to help guarantee that you're going to eat better, because that's a challenge. We're all busy. It takes time to cook. It takes time to go grocery shopping and find those good veggies. So here are some steps that you can take to get a step ahead and make it a little easier. Now, the first thing that I think is helpful, for me personally especially, is to plan. So it's one of the easiest ways to prepare healthy meals during the week is to know what you're going to make in advance. So I like to take some time to think about some recipes that I want to use, or think about some vegetables that I want to incorporate, and then I make a shopping list of all the things I'm going to need. I really love this app called Epicurious. It makes it really easy to find good recipes that are healthy. So you can scroll through, find things that look good to you. Then you click save them in your recipe box and it saves them on the app. And then when I'm ready to go shopping, I can click on the recipes that I decided I was going to make that week and think about it. You might make 2 or 3 of those things that week and eat leftovers the next day, so it's not that bad. So you click on that and then it makes a shopping list for you. And then you can, click off all the things that you already have. You can go into the store and then you've got this list of groceries that you need to buy and that you're going to use that week because you've already planned for it. So it's a really helpful way to just make it brain dead and you don't have to think about it. It's also really great if you take that recipe and, maybe make a double batch so that you have extra portions. You might be able to freeze them depending on what it is, or, just eat them the next day or for lunch. And so it kind of cuts back on your cooking and hopefully it tastes delicious and you enjoy eating it a few times. The other good trick is to keep a pantry that's well stocked. You really have to have the ingredients on hand if you're going to be dedicated to cooking on a regular basis. It's a lot easier to make a healthy meal if all the ingredients are already there. So I keep things in my pantry that are healthy, and I try not to keep a bunch of snacks in there that might derail my efforts. We don't really eat a lot of chips or cookies. Once in a while, that's fine, but if they're there, you're going to eat them. So keep those out and keep all the healthy stuff there. Some things that I like to keep in the pantry, that last a long time and I can just grab them when I feel like cooking, are things like whole grains, like brown rice or quinoa, both delicious. Quinoa is actually a complete protein, so that's nice for adding a little more protein to your meal. With brown rice, you have to combine it with something like beans or lentils to make it a whole protein. I like to keep some dried beans in there, which are a lot of work, but canned beans are just as good, and so I have a full stock of all kinds of beans there. And I always keep some stock and bouillon cubes in my pantry because it's really easy to make a soup. Whatever's in the fridge, basically, you can grab a bunch of veggies, chop them up, saute them, throw in some broth, and voila, you have a soup. So that's a good way to get a lot of veggies in and just something to fall back on whenever, you're in a pinch. Also, make sure you have some good kitchen tools. Getting good quality tools is really helpful, actually. And I recently experienced this personally when I bought a whole new set of ceramic nonstick pans. I had been avoiding Teflon because it's terrible. It's got a lot of toxins in it. And so I've always been using, these regular pans where things burn and stick and they're kind of a pain. I got these new ceramic pots and I love them. It makes the cooking so much easier, and then I don't mind washing them afterwards because everything just kind of washes away really quickly and you're done and you're not scrubbing. So nonstick ceramic cookware is really a godsend when it's time to clean, and it makes the cooking easier. I love having a good sharp knife and a nice cutting board so that you can chop those veggies really easy and you're not struggling with them. Having a food processor can be helpful if you like gadgets. It will make it really easy to chop things up or mix them, and you can cook things from scratch much more quickly that way. It really will save you time in the long run, especially if they're good quality and they're durable. They'll last a long time and they don't have a lot of maintenance, so you're not going to be throwing things away. So if you want to invest in your health, make sure you have a good kitchen tools at your dispense. Another thing, prepping ingredients. So that can take a while to be like sitting there chopping veggies for a meal. I mean, it actually can end up being half the time that it takes. So if you're going to be chopping an onion, say, why not chop 2 onions? And then you have a bag of chopped onions that you can use later in the week to just throw in your pot and saute. If you prep these things in advance and have them ready, it's just going to make it faster and easier, and you'll have less excuses not to cook. Also, when I'm cooking grains, I might make a big batch of rice and portion out half of it and throw it in a little container in the freezer so I can grab that one night if I need it. I don't have to spend 30 minutes cooking rice. Or if you have protein sources, you might want to chop those up and freeze half of them. So just having these things makes it really easier so that you can just grab things and go. Also, just look for really quick and easy recipes. You do not have to get complicated with this. When you're cooking with whole foods and vegetables and whole grains, it's going to taste good and you don't have to go crazy. There's a lot of healthy recipes that you can make in 30 minutes or less, and so you don't have to get too elaborate. One thing I love to have is a bowl or a Buddha bowl or a protein bowl, whatever you want to call it. Those are awesome because you just need some simple components, whatever's in your access. So a grain, like maybe I want to make some brown rice. I'll chop up whatever vegetables are in my fridge. And then I might grab some beans out of a can, and then find a nice salad dressing or sauce that I have on hand. And I will kind of lay out all those things on the countertop in different bowls. And then my husband and I each go through and pick what we like and make the kind of bowl that we want with our own dressings. And it's kind of hysterical because we end up with totally different meals, even though we were both grabbing from the same counter and the same bowls. So you can make anything that you like. And so this is great for kids too. They can make it the way they like it. And now you have a bowl full of very healthy foods of all ingredients that you particularly love. So it's really kind of hard to go wrong. So I hope you see now that cooking healthy, it doesn't really have to be as difficult as we sometimes think it is. And if you make it fun by including the family in the process, it's even better. Give them all a little task and have them contribute and get to spend a little bit of time together. It just takes a little creativity and effort, and you can make really nutritious meals, and you will keep your whole family healthy. And if you're really dedicated to incorporating a lot of veggies into the diet, like that study I talked about, you have the potential to even reverse your aging. At the worst case, you're going to age really well. So take some time, get out in that kitchen, and start cooking.